What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about exactly what questions you guys should be asking when negotiating with a seller, and in terms of figuring out exactly how to appraise the phone. What questions you guys should be asking, in what order, because there is an effective way to do it. So stick around throughout the entire video. You guys don't want to miss it. It's some valuable content you guys I think will really enjoy. So with that said, let's get into today's video. So obviously, before I get into it, if you're new here, definitely hit that little subscription button down below. And if you find value in this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, which I know a lot of you will, because this is a highly requested video and it has been for a while now. So I'm glad I'm getting around to it, but we're gonna kind of get right into it and how I actually ask questions and in what order I ask them, because there is a certain order that I do just based on kind of A/B testing and seeing what works, what will push away certain people, what will get them engaged in the conversation. So the first thing that you guys should be asking is obviously so somebody's gonna be coming to you through an ad, most likely saying, hey, I have an iPhone 7 Plus. And then one thing at first I always ask is, what is the gigabyte and what is the carrier? A lot of the time they're just gonna give you one or the other, and I always make sure to have both of them before I get to the next part. It's just a great way to start out the foundation, gonna kind of get a gauge of what kind of phone you're gonna be looking to buy, and kind of get a sense of what price range, because you wanna start building that price range in your head. And if you don't really know much about it, obviously I have videos on how to appraise the phone on eBay, looking through the sold listings, and you just wanna start kind of getting them familiar and engaged with the conversation. So moving on to the second point, this is where, if you guys haven't watched any of my videos, this is where I'm gonna be starting to ask questions that I know will devalue the phone in their head. So let's say iPhone 7 Plus, 32 gigabyte, AT&T. So then I'm gonna say it's not the highest gigabyte, and that kind of question, obviously they're gonna say no because you just told them, but in their head they're gonna be like, I guess that isn't the highest gigabyte. And if they say maybe it is, they'll be like, no, I think the highest one is 256 gigabytes or whatever it is. Start to ask those questions to devalue the phone in their head, and this can take 1 or 2 texts to do that. And then you're gonna move on to asking what is the condition of the phone. And this is kind of where the truth starts to come out, and you can start to ask questions. This really kind of depends on what they say, but let's say they say there's a couple scratches on the phone. I might say, so it's not good, it's not pristine condition, there is a couple scratches. They'll most likely say yes, and then you can kind of tell at this point, start to tell if something is going to be a sketchy transaction and when it's not, because you want to gauge gauge what the person's like as much as possible without necessarily hearing them. You're just kind of getting a couple texts. So after that, I'm going to be asking a couple more questions. This is kind of the last set of questions to devalue in their head the value of their phone, because right off the bat you want to hit them with them thinking that their phone is literally worth nothing, and you want them to expect that you're going to be offering a low price. You don't want to go into it making them think that they have a very valuable phone, and then therefore you're going to be offering something very high. You want to set the expectations very low, and this is very important for you guys to follow. If you guys aren't doing this technique that I'm following, I guarantee it'll help you close a lot more deals, simply because I have tested it and it has worked for me. But after asking those couple questions, then I'm going to go ahead and ask for the IMEI, and this is where I start to do a little bit work. And one thing you guys should notice is when they give you the IMEI, obviously it's going to take you a couple minutes. I like to take a little bit extra time when checking the IMEI, maybe 4 or 5 minutes before I respond back, because this is getting them thinking, oh, maybe is he not gonna buy the phone? What do I have to do? Do I have to lower the price? What do I have to do to get him to buy my phone? Because a lot of these people that are coming to simply want the cash, and they don't want an opportunity to simply slip away simply because they think they're not giving enough information, or they're coming off sketchy, which is another great way to leverage this technique and using this strategy. Is why I love it so much. And then I'm going to respond back and say, is it paid off? But I already know if it's going to be paid off or not. If it's not paid off, I'll simply just say It's like it shows that there's a current account balances on it, and if they say it's paid off, I'll simply ask them to meet at a carrier store and verify that. But because sometimes the systems aren't up to date all the time, but I'll also ask again if it's paid off, just to kind of get them to make sure they're going to be reselling a clean phone to me and they know that. So after the IMEI, then I'm going to start to ask how old is the phone, and this is again a part in the negotiation tactic where you're going to gauge if they're a trustworthy seller, if they're not, and potentially how important that bill of sale is. And I'm going to be getting that into that in a couple other steps later on. But again, I'm going to be asking how old the phone is. If they say a 6 Plus is brand new, a lot of the times it won't be. There's a big hint that this probably might not be the best transaction to go through with, but that's not gonna get me to just stop responding. But I'm just gonna kind of give me a gauge of what I'm gonna be going into. But if it's like a 7 Plus and they say, oh, it's 8 months, a year old, most likely they are the original owner of the phone and they just have no use for it because they upgraded. If they say 2 years, a lot of the times that is the point where people can upgrade, so they get new phones. So just something to keep in mind that you guys probably haven't thought about before, but it's a great way to see if they're actually trustworthy and if they are the potential original owner of the phone. I typically will stay away from that because 99% of the time they will always say yes, so it's just a waste of my time. And then another key question, you guys have probably asked this before, is why are you selling the phone? And that is probably the end all, give all, why are you what kind of excuse are they going to come up with? And you guys know in this industry, obviously, a lot of the times when we sell phones locally, they're going to be asking why we sell it. We have to, obviously, I'm not going to always say I'm a reseller. I'll just say I'm selling it for my girlfriend or something to make it look like a more trustworthy transaction. Even though it is trustworthy, we just want to make it kind of smooth and make them feel as comfortable as possible that we're not just buying some random phone. We want to make it think like we are the owner of the phone. So they might be doing that on their end, but it's pretty easy to gauge. You guys will probably see exactly what kind of person they are. You guys know what I mean. It's just kind of one of those questions to see why, what kind of person they are in a sense, and if this transaction is going to be something you truly want to go through with. And obviously this is the exact order that I'm gonna be going through in every person that I meet, and it might change here and there depending on the person and if they ask me questions in the middle here and there, but this is basically the general outline that you guys should be following in the exact order. But kind of getting back into it, then I'm gonna be asking if there's accessories. And again, this could be a question you guys could leverage, if you know they don't have accessories with it, simply just say ask that question because it'll devalue in their head. But sometimes it will raise the value of a phone. I won't raise it in terms of my appraisal, but I'll recognize that this could be a potentially profitable phone because accessories do raise the value pretty high, especially if you're reselling locally, not so much eBay. But after this, if everything is checked through, then everything, I know I'm gonna be able to buy the phone. I'm gonna ask for the bill of sale and ID. That is simply, obviously, if you guys don't know, the bill of sale will protect you financially and legally, basically, from getting scammed in the industry, and it'll protect you from them filing insurance claims, getting that phone blacklisted, and you basically just having a dud phone. It's not worth nothing. You can go resell it on eBay, but it's just a hassle because it's not what you exactly thought it was and you're not going into. But at this stage, if they make it through these steps, a lot of the times they will say, okay, I will sign the bill of sale, but you also want to make sure that they are willing to show you their ID. A lot of the times they're going to ask you why, but all you have to do is simply just say it's because of legal tax purposes. I run a business, so I have to have accountability for every single transaction I make, whether it's phones, wholesale products. It's just the same thing for retail. Sometimes I have to go pretty elaborate with it. You guys can kind of, in a sense, make it up, but just give them kind of this sense of trust factor in you. Most of the time I always just say it's a legal thing, and they usually have no problem with it. But if they do, probably a phone you guys shouldn't buy. So this is another wedge, kind of weeding out somebody. And you guys can see a lot of these questions will kind of weed out a lot of people. That's why we ask these questions. We want to avoid scam kind of transactions. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to lose our money, obviously. So all these questions are asked for a reason, not just simply, again, it helps us appraise the phone, but also it lets us know if we should be buying this actual phone and it's going to be a trustworthy transaction. But then finally, the last thing is just obviously negotiating. If everything checks out, you're given a price, like they're agreed on it, you want to ask if they can meet at a carrier store. That's like the final last, like I guess you could say it's the final last thing you guys should be asking. You should agree on a time, agree to meet at a carrier store. 99% of you should be meeting at a carrier store, simply because it is the safest place to check it out, and you can check it like in real time if the phone is blacklisted in the current like carrier store. So I definitely, like, this is a lot of steps for you guys. I recognize that this is a long video, but if you made it this far, like, I guarantee you're gonna like do a lot more than the guy that quit at 3 minutes. I created this video because I truly like care about if you guys are closing deals. I know a lot of you are having a lot of troubles, and you guys are messaging me all the time. I really appreciate it, letting me know that you guys like aren't closing these deals. A lot of you are asking IMEI too early in the steps, which is weeding out a lot of people because they get scared about a big word of IMEI. They don't know what it is, and then they just like, a lot of the times you have to get them engaged in the conversation to put in the effort to go find the IMEI, because a lot of the times they don't know where it is and they have to search for it. And if you're asking that right off the bat, they're not, probably just don't want to deal with it, so they're not going to sell you the phone. So I give you this format for a reason, because it works. Follow it to the T. Obviously things will change here and there, but I know, give it your best judgment. But again, let me know what you guys think. If you guys go out there, give it a try and it works, definitely leave a comment down below. And if it doesn't work, also let me know. I really want to like kind of evaluate if this works for you, if it just works for me. But with that said, if you guys found value in the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you're not in the family, hit that little subscription button down below. I really appreciate the support. I release videos every single day about phone flipping, business, whatever it may be, my lifestyle. I want to bring you guys along the journey, show you guys how to make some extra money and really like kill it in the side business kind of hustle game. So again, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.